I want to be happy. Don't you? Hi, I'm Conchetta, cueing everybody to just be happy. I try to begin my day each morning with quiet time spent in meditation and prayer because I know once I sit in front of that computer to check email or listen to the news, I'll need my brain reinforced with some good juju. That said, it may surprise you to know I've been an avid fan of the Walking Dead series since the very first episode. It surprises me, too. Despite having personally acted in a few scary movies, I've never liked or watched horror films. Yet, I've been following this disturbing TV show of modern zombie fiction for the past 10 years. To be clear, I'm talking about the original series, the one that's simply titled The Walking Dead. Now, if you haven't seen it yet, in order to fully grasp the existential aspects, you'll need to binge the series from the beginning. It premiered October 31st, 2010. Last year's spin-off, The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, was beautifully shot entirely in France. Frankly, although I'm still watching, this season is not nearly as good, in my opinion. That said, I'm mesmerized watching ordinary people trying to survive in an apocalyptic world. I mean, it's hard enough getting through life without facing mindless half-human beings relentlessly killing anyone and anything who is not like them. The people who are still alive fit into one of two categories, good or evil. It's a lot like real life. The good people help each other survive and protect themselves from the evil ones who kill them and steal whatever food, fuel, and water is left in the world. I love watching how good people, despite all odds, carry the light of civilization and ultimately survive not only zombies, but the evil humans who, without morality, civility, and love, have lost their humanity. Sound familiar? The story is an extreme metaphor for the reality we experience every single day. Our fears of nuclear war, mass contagion, all of which not only threaten our quest for survival, but for happiness. Extrapolating this ghastly story into our personal reality, I see that even in the worst of circumstances, people who contribute to the greater good in this world not only retain their humanness, but are more likely to achieve a sense of personal fulfillment. We see how a life of relentless stress changes people, and even the strongest among us can reach a breaking point. Watching it makes me acutely aware that one of the most essential elements for survival continues to be the ability to find happiness every moment, every day. Often we find it by giving it. Now, this is an odd segue, but I'm reminded of a cherished friendship I had with a remarkable woman, Patricia Morison. She was a Broadway TV and film star during the golden age of Hollywood. I first met her at a dinner party. She was sitting in a wingback chair surrounded by other guests. I couldn't believe this beautiful woman was in her 90s. She had such a youthful, happy aura. I was quietly watching nearby when she looked up, motioned me to come closer, and gave me a lovely compliment. Well, we began chatting and discovered that we had a lot in common, including our love of animals. I told her about my dog Bennett, and she invited me to visit her next week, and, oh, please bring him. Well, on our first visit, Bennett was freshly brushed out, wearing his bow tie, as always, the perfect little gentleman. Patricia was seated on a beautiful antique sofa. When she saw him, her face lit up with a big smile. She looked at him and said, "Is this Bennett?" Now, anyone who has a dog knows they have a special talent for zeroing in on good people. He immediately left my side, jumped up next to her, and started kissing her beautiful face, tail wagging like crazy, standing on his little hind legs, with his paws digging into her light blue sofa. I was mortified. "Bennett, no!" I mean, he was trained. He never jumped up on anyone or anything. I apologized and tried to pull him away, but she just laughed and hugged him. No, no, leave him. I love it. I tried to at least lift his back paws and put my sweater under them so his nails wouldn't ruin those silk cushions. I'm so sorry, she said. No, no, it's okay. But Patricia, your beautiful sofa. She looked at me like I was crazy and said, Honey, I'm 100. Actually, she was only 98. Well, we continued our visits, and one afternoon she told me she was being flown to New York that weekend to appear back on Broadway in a special one-night benefit for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. Some of you may know she was the original leading lady on Broadway in Kiss Me Kate and The King and I. Patricia was now 99 years old, and in a few days, she would be singing Cole Porter's Brush Up Your Shakespeare from Kiss Me Kate. It's a very long patter song with complicated lyrics. She was excited but a little nervous about remembering all the words, and she asked if I wouldn't mind listening to her rehearse before she had to perform it in front of a big audience. Mind? Not at all. I told Bennett, Patricia is going to sing for us. Sing? Now, he understood that meant he had to move away and sit quietly because that's what he did whenever I rehearsed songs for a show or an audition. So he sat by my feet and we both watched her sing. She was terrific, funny and charming, and didn't miss a single word. I'll never forget it. In fact, you can still find her show-stopping performance on YouTube. Over the years, whenever I'd ask Bennett if he wanted to go see Patricia, he would jump up, run in circles, and get me his leash. A few years later, we'd find her either sitting up in her bed or her wheelchair. I'd ask how she was feeling, and her answer was always, "Oh, honey, I'm fine. How are you?" The important thing about my experience with Patricia is that whatever might have been going on with her health, in the world, or in her life, she exuded a spirit of happiness and serenity and always made everyone around her feel good. Eventually, she went into the hospital for a short final time. One day, a professional backup singer who was volunteering there asked if she could meet her. Lying in her hospital bed, Patricia was her usual gracious self. In fact, I have a cell phone video of her holding this woman's hand as together they sang in what became her final poignant performance, Our Love Is Here to Stay. Together we're going a long, long way. In time the Rockies may tumble, Gibraltar may crumble, they're only made of clay, but our love is here to stay. The woman was obviously moved and said, I'll come back to see you again tomorrow. Patricia had the biggest smile. Oh, yes, come back tomorrow. We'll have more time. You're such a beautiful girl. Then she squeezed her hand and asked, Is there anything I can do for you? That was classic Patricia. In her hospital bed, asking someone she just met, What can I do for you? She was 103 when she left the planet, a shining example of how we can change the world by simply caring about other people. Patricia told me that in her late 30s, after meeting Bishop Fulton Sheen, she converted to Catholicism and attributed her strong faith to his help. You may have heard of him from his network TV show Life is Worth Living. It was popular all through the 1950s, and his NBC radio show ran for over 20 years. She saved 3 letters he'd written to her. One in 1952 was a thank you, where he wrote in part, My greatest joy is to receive converts in the church, and I look for nothing else than their prayerful remembrances. Your gift, however, was symbolic of your thinking, inasmuch as it brought the best art on Our Lady to my desk. Now, I don't know whether the art he mentions was a painting or carving, but I treasure 3 beautiful religious artifacts from her home, 2 of Our Lady that were given to me. My favorite is an exquisite framed copper engraving of the Blessed Mother and Child. It transmits light, serenity, and a quiet strength. It reminds me of her. It actually glows when the light hits it. Strangely enough, this brings me back around to the series The Walking Dead, and why I see it as a cue, a reminder that in order to survive the zombies in this world, we need more than a sharp knife. We need each other, working together with kindness. When we listen to that small voice within, it can guide us through anything. There's so much more to life than what we can see, touch, or control. Whatever your beliefs or religion, discover the powerful mystery of faith. In the last paragraph of that letter, Sheen writes, "May she, who is your spiritual mother, guide you in all of your activities, and may she who is on the stage of heaven applaud your every move on the stage of time. And may you bring to the theater the same influences of faith as you presently bring to it the influences of personality and art." Hear those finger snaps? You've just been cued. Grab life with both hands. Have faith and hold on to your happy. If you enjoy listening, please subscribe and tell your friends. I try to release a new episode about every 2 to 3 weeks, so if you have a topic you'd like me to discuss, Google Conchetta Q's Women of a Lovely Age on YouTube and post your request in the comments section below. Until then, whether you're 23 or 103, be happy today. Why not?